Yeah, we're still here in front of the KL Tower. It's 441 meters, right? But since it's on the hill, so the tower itself is 441. And so if you add the height of the hill, then that would put it sure over 500 meters above sea high, kind of. So it sure stands out a lot more than its actual height. But still 441 is quite a high tower. So the Petronas and other high tower, and then there's Merdeka. Okay, so in front of Merdeka we'll finish this chapter. Finish last 3 verses of the chapter. The conclusion we'll do maybe after dark. Right. Verse 39. Jesus said, "For judgment I came into this world, that those who do not see may see, and those who see may become blind." And now Jesus in these last 3 verses are really going to press the point of the blindness. He's not going to allegorize it, he's going to, in a sense, maybe rather say spiritualize it or use it metaphorically. Right? It's not allegory, it's more a metaphor for their spiritual condition. So he say, I came into this world so that those who do not see may see, and those who see may become blind. Did Jesus mean by that there are certain people who see and search for God, and that he came so that they who search for God and kind of see the truth might now be blinded and not search it anymore and not see it? In other words, those seeking for heaven sent them to hell. I already spoke against that very clearly. Not going to repeat myself, but that would be nonsense. If you understand this verse to mean something like this. I can imagine some pastor or churches believe it like this, but this would be false. And on the other hand, those who don't care about it. So the easiest way into heaven is to not care about God at all, because you're blind. You don't care about God, and then okay, here comes God, and he saves you because you don't care about him. So it's like a little bit like. Sometimes you want to draw attention of someone, you show as if you don't care about that person, kind of, and then that person will, why is he not caring about me? I want him to care about me. So, and he tries all his best, like, for you to care about him or her or whatever kind of idea, right? It's as well kind of a reverse psychology idea, right? So God is just, he's sitting up there in heaven, and all those who are seeking him, they just, they just want me, and man, since it's so easy, I don't care about them. But then there are those who don't want me at all. I will do everything so they will be saved. Okay, so all those drug addicts, if you want to go into heaven, be a drug addict or a drunkard or a super sinner, and then you will attract the attention of Jesus in a good way, and you will go to heaven. He will make you see, and you'll go to heaven. Right, like this guy, supposedly a sinner from birth, which we know is not true because it was for the glory of God, so the works of God may shine through. But some people do make this conclusion, unluckily. Okay, so no, this is not what Jesus is saying, because he's going to explain it in the next verses. What actually is it that he means by this idea of that he came so that those who see may see, and who do not see may see, and those who see may become blind. Verse 14. Some of the Pharisees near him heard these things and said to him, "Are we also blind?" Could just quickly go back as well to still verse 39. Jesus said, "For judgment I came." In chapter 3, he said, "I didn't come to judge." In other places as well, he said he's not there to judge. But in other places, he's saying he's judging. And by not judging, but by telling them who they are, he is judging them. Okay, so I've looked at all of those instances, and we've looked at the context, location is always king, right? So this is then this context that Jesus in this case going to speak, because he is going to judge the Pharisees for kicking this guy out, for not believing. We see that in verse 41. So in verse 40, I've read it, and so they heard some of the Pharisees. Remember, there were some of those who believed, and then there are those who did not believe amongst the Pharisees. And so those of them who heard these things and did not believe ultimately, because those who believed, they would not have spoken up and they would not have said these words. So they ask him, "Are we also blind?" They actually, they are right in their assessment. And this is what they are. They are blind. Are they going to accept it? According to them, they're not blind. According to them, they are the only ones who know the truth, right? They are the only denomination that has all the truth. We know denominations like that who believe that they are the only ones who have. Sometimes Reformed people can be like, we know all the truth because we are the head people kind of idea. Yes, lots of good theologians come from the Reformed movement because the head is so important to us. But forget about the heart. Both needs to work together. Otherwise, your theology is dead. As well, R.C. Sproul said, if your theology doesn't change your heart, then your theology is dead. Well, I mean, not word for word he said it, but that was his intention or his meaning with that kind of saying. Anyhow, so if you claim to be the only true denomination, then if your pastor claims to be the only true pastor, as I said earlier today, ran. If your denomination claims to be the only true denomination, ran. We all have things. Some of us are closer to the truth than others, but none of us is perfect, right? We're all, in that sense, working towards understanding. There's lots of finer details in which we, which we just plain don't get, right? Or because we are not from that culture, not from that time. So Jesus' assessment of them is actually that they are blind. But their assessment is, no, we are the only ones who knows. They said earlier in this chapter, oh, no, people out there, they're nobodies. They don't understand anything. They're just the populace. They're stupid fools. Okay, the soldiers, 2 chapters ago, they don't understand anything. Okay, this blind man, we know he's a sinner. We know it all. So we are not blind. So they're saying, you are blind, we are blind? Get away from here, right? I mean, so you need to understand that statement they made more in that sense, not a sense of, oh, you're also blind? Then maybe we need to change something. Sure, not in that way they meant it, not at all. Because then Jesus' answer would have been different.